Hello, everybody.
Hi. How are you?
We made it to a weird Sunday edition of Your Favorite Aunts, the podcast where two very young, supple
Very
women,
supple women. We are
supple,
the supplest.
supple, you know,
Supple.
soft
Hmm.
and supple. Um, I hate
I don't like.
myself. I hate
I do
myself.
too.
Hi,
I don't
welcome
hate
back
you. I
to
just hate us.
welcome back to Your Favorite Aunts. My name is Kevin.
My name is Sarah.
We are your favorite ants, and as per every week, we get into it. We check in on one another because we're friends, and we also like to check in on the community. So, hello to everybody who's watching us impromptu live on wherever
I
you're
know
watching us.
we snuck up. We snuck up on you. The truth of the matter is, Kevin and I are entering into our summer season, which for
Summertime.
which looks a little different than it normally does. We used to always record Fridays at 1 p.m., but we're gonna send out a message to everyone to let you know exactly
Mm,
when we'll be recording moving forward. But
hmm
so this is our like sneak in. You guys are like you're the real reals that are showing up today.
Yeah,
So ask your favorite ants is a question and opinion
yeah. Question
podcast.
a Q&O show.
The Q&O, where we realized a while ago that the two of us, a lot of folks ask us questions, and so we decided it would be fun to just hang out whenever we could and
Hmm
answer the questions and give you an opportunity to talk to us. So this is
Yeah,
what it is.
and also just an opportunity to talk to each other because this we're best friends, and
Hmm.
we don't have many projects that are just silly and fun, and this is
We
one
don't.
where
This,
we're growing into professionals, and at the same time, um, we are what did you say before the call? Learning in public.
we are learning in public how to use our new eCam, which is great. We're loving that.
Software and scheduling and being our own bosses. It's truly something. Like, I don't even have any eyebrows on right now. It's very embarrassing.
You look amazing. It's also summer, so like you have a summer eyebrow, which is a little lighter.
That was it called? Is that what it's called? Okay, summer
A
eyebrows.
summer eyebrow. Yes. I never do like a just okay. The first advice your aunt has for you, whenever it hits summer, don't do a darker eyebrow because you're gonna go into the pool, you're gonna sweat, you're gonna lose a bit of your eyebrow. And if you started out heavy, it's gonna be
Hmm
such a contrast.
Now, here's my personal suggest if you're doing a light brow, because also if you're just doing a boy brow, because that's typically I'm not trying to go for I'm not doing like a woman's brow for myself on a daily basis.
No.
So using L'Oreal Tattoo Studio, just like it's a little pin. It's got little like three little hairs on the end, and you just zip 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 zip
Like a
zip.
micro
Yeah,
blade.
kind of looks
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it would resemble like sort of microblading, except for it's not. It's just a pigmented thing, and it just goes right on, and it'll stay on like through your afternoon run in the summertime in Atlanta. So like it
I
really,
mean,
as long as you
I
don't
used to
go up
wear
there and like
glasses,
rub your eyebrow with like a Brillo pad, I think you're good. You know,
which is how I get my makeup off. I
that's
don't wear that much makeup.
same. I mean, when I exfoliate, I actually take steel wool
Although
and
my new lip pencil is, I feel like I will have to Brillo it off, but we're good.
yeah, it's a good color. But yeah, you had
Thank
that on this
you.
morning. Also, your outfit's very cute.
Thank you. Yeah, today was my last communion service with my community outside. It was amazing. And so the other piece of it was my friend got ordained. And when women get ordained in our tradition, other women who are ordained wear red shoes. So I had to have an outfit that would be like a pop of color. And like, I'm going to tell you, and everyone who's watching, but no one
Mm.
else, my entire outfit is is kind of like based on this idea of like the black and white
Hmm
and the red papa shoe. So that's kind of my little like fun outfit. It
Fun,
was all based on a shoe.
fun, flirty, and functional.
Beetlejuice. Okay, the truth of it is it's all based on Beetlejuice. Because this outfit reminds me of Beetlejuice whenever I wear
Listen,
it.
Beetlejuice is a great move, and also black and white and red never go out of style.
Thank you. Um,
Um,
So how the hell are you? You just got back. The reason that we are recording on a Sunday versus a Friday is that you just got back from a weekend of merriment and joy.
Yes,
Literally
what literally joy. Um, Fun fact: it is not Joy Aladakun's birthday. It was just the weekend release of her newest album, "In Defense of My Own Happiness." It is such a good album. Joy is really starting to experience a lot of really good things, and I'm just really blown away that we're friends and we got to hang out and just get into some well-managed frivolity. And then, of course, because Mercury is retrograde right now, everything that wants to get in the way and make things go weird did. Nothing terrible happened, but like our friends who got out there too, like their car got stuck in some mud and they had to leave it there overnight. Turns out it was a mudding field, and somebody slammed into their car, and the entire side of their car is like scraped up, and their
Oh my
mirrors
gosh.
knocked off. It was like, I'm like, glad y'all didn't stay in your car.
Oh gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah. So besides that little thing, fun weekend, great times, good foods. I am very, very tired because it's been a long time since I've done like 2 weekends of travel back to back.
I know.
And I'm like, wow, how did I do this before?
hmm
Like,
I was thinking the same thing as so I'm starting to get more and more requests for doing speaking engagements again
oh,
and in person. And so I'm starting to go, oh gosh, I used to travel and booking flights and figuring out, okay, if I speak at this event, then I've got to be ready to speak at this event. It's really hard. This is, first world problems. But the idea that I'm going to have to figure out like all the bookings of all of that is just, it's a lot, but it's great. And we love travel. It's a lot of stuff to get used to again.
it's a lot of stuff to get used to again. And I will never ever like I think it was like something like Nadia was saying at the beginning of pandemic. I'm just like, I'm sorry that I complained about traveling so much. I'm like, yeah, me too. I think the one thing I will say, just like having a dog, is like a new consideration, which I knew would be a thing, but thankfully, I got a friend of mine in town who likes to watch my dog. So far, no big deal. And except for like she came back and I don't know what she rolled it, but she smelled like shit, so I had to give my dog a bath as soon as I walked in the house. So she's
Yeah.
out in the back drying, being a dog.
Tenor is not here.
Where is Tintin?
1010 is at the spa.
Mm-hmm. A very,
So
very
Tenor,
stressed out
every
young man.
every 6 months, Tenor does a full spa day. Teeth brushed, hair done, nails done, like complete shave, and comes out looking like a baby puppy. And I cannot stop touching him. My dog is so cute and so sweet.
God, that
And
sounds like
he's
a traumatizing experience for a dog of your stature.
No, he loves it because he loves his groomer, who is this punk rock guy who has literally has a mohawk, like super high in the air, and doesn't talk to you, only talks to the dog.
Mm. Well, I've just got to say that a couple people, M
Perfect.
on YouTube says, I'm jealous of Tenor. I want a full spa day every 6 months. You and me both,
Same.
girl.
Sames. Um, but as far as how I am doing, you didn't ask, but I'm
No,
answering.
I was getting ready to ask you. You haven't even. What if I
I
hadn't
know.
finished how I was, Sarah? I'm just kidding. How
I
are
don't
you?
know. No, I'm on the Enneagram. I'm a two. I'm a three with a two wings. I want to actually make sure you have an option to
I'm
finish.
fine. What's good, Sarah? How the hell are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. Just starting, getting ready. This started my last month as a local church pastor. So this is my first Sunday of the last four. And my friend got ordained today, which was incredible. And not in my church, but
Mm-hmm.
where they are, which was incredible. And getting ready to just like I actually yesterday I got rid of all on my bike if there was any sort of rust or anything. Got my bike ready to go because it's
Mm-hmm.
summertime here in so many
Oh,
ways.
yes.
I was ready for summer. I got my bike ready for summer. I listened to podcasts. I feel like I'm in
About
a really
summer.
no about murder, but they were good.
I was listening to podcasts about summer. No, about murder. Okay.
You know me. I am always listening to murder podcasts, but it was really good. I listened to one called John Brown's Body. If you get a chance,
I
Tom
feel.
Brown's Body.
I feel like I think they're called true crime podcasts.
Yes, they are called true crime podcasts. I just call them murder podcasts.
Okay. Well, that's good. I like that for you.
I don't ever want to murder anyone. I don't like murder. It's the sociology behind the families, and I'm really trying to explain myself more than I should. Anyway,
you can like what you like, Sarah, but you keep calling it a murder podcast, and
someone's definitely gonna deport me as an immigrant.
Maybe. Anyways, right. Continue with what you were saying.
No, I was just saying it. I feel like I'm doing really well, but I'm also like, I am starting up with some new clients that I am consulting with, and that feels really great and really good. You and I are speaking at an event together this week.
Yeah.
Well, not together, but like at the same event.
It's very, very exciting. I am excited. This is the online church conference happening online.
Yeah, you should. We'll put a link maybe so people, if they want to come, can
come.
Yeah,
my link is in my bio, so you can go check that out and you can register there if you want to. And Sarah, you probably have a link in your bio, I'm sure.
I'll put it in my link tree, which you guys taught me about last week.
Listen, link tree is everything. You can put a one-stop shop for all you need.
Adrian taught me about Linktree. Our friends from the Dirty Rotten Church Kids. Listen to me, like just dropping
these names. While we're at it, let's go ahead and drop other names who's going to be out in LA. Our friend Brenda Marie Davies, a.k.a. Goddess Gray, is also talking.
And Grace.
And Grace Baldridge. And this is not official, but it's going to be official probably later this week. But Joe Lumen is going to be driving up and joining us for the evening, rounding out the evening with a total of 1, 2, 3 women and 2 non-binary queer people. 3 queer people overall. Just so much goodness in one place. It's just, I'm so excited.
And my parents. If you guys want to meet my parents, come to
Do you want to
the
meet
LA event.
The Canadians who brought this woman into the world?
British.
They'll be
They're
so
incredible. They're
so polite.
And they're so wanting to be everyone's parents. So you guys should come. They're amazing. They'll tell you what the weather is where you live. They love to talk about the weather. They're amazing. I love them so much. Okay.
So it's going to be fun.
Let's start with airing.
Yeah. But come to the show, thekevingarcia.com/tour. That's where you can get your tickets.
It's
okay.
Wonderfully made. I would just look. So on my computer, I have our notes for our show. But then underneath it, I have my notes for my wonderfully made talk and also for your tour. And it just makes me so happy. Okay.
I need to update those notes too.
This is what we do. How we do it is we first say hello to each other and to the folks who are like tuning in live, which again, we're going to send you out an actual live time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for everyone who listens to us and who also watches us, even though we are living up to our ADHD best selves and not being
we're going to. No, it's one of those things where we're learning how to like lean into consistency. I think we're getting there. And so we're just learning to have grace for ourselves.
We're having grace for ourselves in this moment. But like any favorite aunt, we always start with checking in with each other, checking in with the room, and then the next thing we do is we air our grievances. So this section,
there's some things going on that we need to talk about.
This section is where we air our grievances, and it's not necessarily just grievances, it's also just things that are happening in the world. We decided to call it airing your grievances the first week because we realized so many of the things were making us angry. But do you want to start with some of the things that are your grievances?
Yes, I have grievances, and I also have Christian subculture interesting things.
Start where you want to start. I've got some stuff here too.
Wow. So I'm going off this. So because we didn't meet recently, this was probably a little bit of an older story, and by older I mean like less than a week. But because it's older than 5 days, it's now an old news story.
It's fine.
But I don't understand NFTs. Do you know what those are?
Okay. I'm really glad you put this in our notes when it popped up. So what is an NFT?
An NFT is like a piece of digital content that only exists, like the original one, and basically an NFT is like this piece of digital art is only available to this one person, and we can verify its authenticity through blockchain, which is the same stuff that they use for cryptocurrency to verify authenticity.
Anyone who's listening right now, if we are getting this wrong, please do not feel bad about correcting us.
Yeah, if you know about the cryptos and whatnot, you can talk to us about that. I did actually read the article. I just didn't retweet it. I actually am a little bit of a Bitcoin investor myself. Amateur Bitcoin investor. But if y'all remember back from the early internet, the video where that small child said, "Charlie bit my finger." The Charlie bit my finger video. Do you remember that? From
Charlie bit my finger. Ouch,
Charlie.
it hurt. Charlie.
It sold for $760,000. Someone bought that little clip, and it was literally just a piece of data, a piece of video.
So it can never be on anything ever again, and if anyone wants to use it, they have to contact them. Like if a commercial wants to use it or whatever it might be.
I don't know about licensing or whatever, but just like, it's like, you can still find that video on the internet. It exists. But the original, the NFT, like I'm just like, so what happened? Like, so you have this piece of digital art.
Remember the rumor that Bill Cosby had bought all the things? Maybe it wasn't a rumor. Maybe it was true, like Dukes of Hazzard and all these sort of things that Bill Cosby bought so that no one could watch it.
Oh, I have no idea if that's true.
Okay, anyone who's listening to this, please, if you heard this rumor, it might not be true. I mean, it's probably not true. But it was the whole idea that they bought like Dukes of Hazzard and all that kind of stuff so that no one could watch it.
No clue. Never heard of that. I don't think NFTs are the same way. I think it's literally just rich folks finding another way to flex. You know? Now, granted, like, it's like, I get it in some ways, like, it's no more absurd than paper money, like a piece of paper, meaning this is worth something, you know? So it's no more absurd than that. It's all just like what you place your value in. But I'm like, come on, $760,000.
That's ridiculous. I mean, it's not a house here in California, but it's a house in most places.
That's 2 houses in Atlanta. That's my house and the house up the street and the house next to it. So all I'd say is that's fucking wild to me. So,
but all I'm saying is we should just start. All I'm saying is we should start videotaping each other and like posting it and then seeing who will buy it.
If you would buy NFTs of me and Sarah having just actually staring into the camera and blinking, would you buy that? For $760,000.
No one would buy that.
Comment below.
No one would buy that for $7. No one would buy that for $760.
How much would you buy it for? Would you, like, if you an NFT of me just going, just me doing? I mean,
I would buy it, but also
for how much?
Okay.
So for how much, Sarah? How much would you buy my NFT for?
Like dinner and a drink? I don't know.
Okay, what's your next... Okay. What do we got? Well, in real things.
In real things, the real things we have are abortion bans are happening. In Texas, Supreme Court is about to hear another challenge to Roe versus Wade. Again, we talked about this last time, but it's
actually getting closer, like, because it's not just... the law going live in Texas. It's now the Supreme Court is actually going to hear a challenge, which is new. It hasn't happened before, and no doubt it's because the court leans right now because of Justice Amy Coney Barrett, Amy Coney Barrett,
Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah. I don't need to make fun of your name to drag you, sis.
Yeah, we're not making fun of your name, but also it's hard for us to remember.
Amy Coney Barrett, and I'm just saying, like, the things that just, like, bother me so much is how during the Trump presidency, everyone was like, don't worry, it can't get much worse. He did exactly what he said he was going to do, and it was worse than we thought it was going to be, so...
Whew.
And I
Yeah.
oop.
And I think there's also something to be said about the fact that he hasn't gone away. He was just
Mm-mm.
at the North Carolina rally for the Republican Party.
And the SBC is currently. I have another thing that'll lead into this too. The SBC, one of their things they're discussing at their convention coming up is the Baptist support for former President Donald Trump. So like, yikes.
What does that mean?
They're gonna try to probably get him reelected in 2024. When's the next election? 2024.
So when you said that, I thought you were going to say like they're going to actually discuss how problematic it was that they supported a
No,
presidential candidate.
no. They the GOP and Baptists love Donald Trump. The only person who doesn't is Russell Moore, who finally stepped away from the SBC about 3 days ago.
Gosh, that must have been so painful. Which brings me to one of my things I didn't have in here. But someone today was talking about Beth Moore and how Beth Moore, SBC, used to be SBC, now being attacked by the SBC, and has made some shifts and changes and beliefs and that sort of stuff. And just that this group of humans feels like it's important for them to collectively go after people feels very anti-Jesus in my mind.
It's also, I mean, it is very anti-Jesus, and it's like it's also just indicative of that culture. It's like if you are not for us, you are against us, and you are also no longer human. Like
Not
it's,
okay.
and that's really what it comes down to is like they don't actually have they don't care that you are a human or that you have a complex story because that is how supremacy culture works, and it sucks, and it's wrong, and
Okay, well, there that is. Guys, it sucks and it's wrong. And there we are. Whew. Friends, what else do you got for airing our grievances before we hop into the questions?
um. I mean my other thing was just Russell Moore like leaving the SPC, you know, like in the same vein as, and like Russell Moore is now like going on full offensive against QAnon, against like the GOP extreme bullshit.
So when you said Russell Moore, I thought Russell Brand. I just felt like you should know that.
Like legitimately, you
Not
thought Russell?
legitimately, but my brain was like,
It's like for
I
half a
was
second. It's
like,
like wait,
I didn't know he was Baptist.
I didn't know Russell
Oh,
Brand
no,
was
no, no.
Baptist. No, different one, different one.
Everyone, got it.
Got it.
Russell Moore, yes. Step
Uh,
away, QAnon.
yeah, he's kind of like I don't like him still, but just like he's better than most of them.
Oof.
So
I feel like so often lately we have been in this time of having to choose the least bad versus this is good and I'm excited about it. It's
yeah,
who do we walk with? Who do we support as someone that we're like excited about? And it oftentimes it's like, oh, this person is not as bad as this other person, which doesn't feel like that's not a thing, right?
mm-hmm.
It's not a champion thing. So,
Yeah.
friends,
Well, my thing is steer clear of those white supremacist bastions, and then you probably won't have to worry about it. You know?
and I think the hard part is we don't often know when we're in the midst of it. And that has been the truth as you often are and don't know, right?
Mm,
And how do you figure those things out other than really start to question them?
I mean, you're talking to the wrong person. I don't have much pity. Like that's like something that I note in myself is I have less pity for the Beth Moores of the world and the Russell Moores of the world. Also, they're not related. I thought they were. Um, but and I think it's because like it's not just that they've left their spaces; is that they have not repented for the damage that they've done in those spaces.
Oof. Yeah, okay. Okay. Now we've got to the heart of the truth. It's that I am always gracious and ready for people to open. Some of the comments are like, how do we have like grace for people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. The thing is, grace requires acknowledgement. So
Mm-hmm.
why did South Africa kind of do okay after after apartheid? Not great, guys, but it's It's because they were willing to have the truth and reconciliation stuff. They were
Mm-hmm.
willing to say, we have to open this up. We have to be honest. We have to show it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so many of us are not willing to say, I was wrong in this thing. It's like, it's the whole Rachel Hollis problem where, yeah, well, I worked really hard to get here. Oh, yeah, now I've changed, but I've changed. Now I've worked really hard to get here, but it's still about you. You haven't admitted that when I was there, I harmed and hurt people.
Mm-hmm. And that's my thing is like, I will always, I'm happy that people celebrate how far they've come and that they're getting out and all those things. And my and is always going to be, you're not coming to the cookout until you show me like that you are not going like that, like you made good with my friends. And like I'm thinking, and that's the thing is like, that's people will always be like, well, you got to make room for people with differing ideas. And I'm like, no, my job as who I am in the world is to make room for the people who have been hurt by people. Like, that's my job. It's not my job to make other people comfortable. There is places and spaces for that. Not always in the places I'm making. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I'm one of them. I understand myself and my role because I am not being harmed by marginalization other than being a woman. But in general, I get to be the bridge builder. I get to be the one who stands in the road and says, yeah, you can't pass. None shall pass until you're willing to say that you're sorry to the people that are on the other side of this. You can't come to the good party because gays have the good parties. Y'all do. So let's just be honest. And you cannot come until you... the secret word is I'm sorry. That's the secret passcode to coming into this party.
I mean, and speaking of good parties, the 8-arm parties are back in Atlanta.
What's an 8-arm party?
There's a party every the Sunday Fun Day party at 8-arm, which happened 2019. They're back now. It's called the Shaka Khan Hacienda.
I can't wait to be in person with you and us do these things. All right. Is there anything else you want to make sure that we have? I love that we're taking notes. This feels very grown up.
We're very professional. We have things. I have no more points of grievance and or pop culture references. Did we talk?
Great.
Wait.
There was a royal baby born today.
Congratulations. What kind? No, I didn't. What kind of baby?
What kind? Megan. I don't know what kind of baby it was.
Oh, was it a nice baby?
It was a human baby.
Oh, okay.
We're terrible at this. Oh gosh, it was on my news feed as I was working, so I didn't really see it.
Well, happy birthday, little
most
Prince
news feed I get.
X.
I know it's a prince or princess, whatever. I mean, really, they should be able to choose. So
yeah. I'll say Prince X with an X on the end.
Human baby, welcome to the world.
Did we talk about Demi Lovato coming out as non-binary?
Oh no, we did not.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this I think this happened like Thursday last week or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, Demi Lovato came out as non-binary. So
for the short hair reason.
Mm-hmm. And I was just super pumped. I think it's rock and roll. I love that there's more non-binary pop stars, and also just how, at least for me, I feel like there's just like this the queer community is becoming visibly more queer in the media, and that makes me very happy.
Say more.
Well, like, so for a long time, LGBT meant Will and Grace. Like, that was people's expectation of it. That was the extension of their knowledge of the gay community. And now we have Lil Nas X, a black gay man, dancing to Call Me By Your Name, surrounded by sexy-ass femme black dudes who are like, I'm like, this is clearly like, this is gay as shit. Like, this is overt, like, gay sexuality, where, like, straight sexuality is, like, constantly, like, like Meg the Stallion can be dancing around, it's fine, somebody on, like, Usher could be on there surrounded by women.
Oh my god, I'm so old, I don't even know who Meg the Stallion is.
Megan the Stallion? Are you kidding me?
I don't know, I'm old.
If you think Sarah's an old, comment below. Hi, old.
Sarah is an
Delete it, old.
So sometimes when I talk to Kevin will say to me, hello, old.
Hello. Good night, old.
Good night, old. It's 9 p.m. It's
yeah,
fine.
you need, yeah. So, all that to say is Meg Thee Stallion is who you need to be listening to. She's the sound of summer. She is the moment. She's everything.
Oh, so just a side note, personal side note. 2 years ago, you made a playlist for Wild Goose Festival, which everyone should be going to. You and I are sharing a stage together.
Mm-hmm.
Also
Oh
doing
yeah, Wild Goose is coming. We're on it.
It's coming. So you were a DJ and you made a playlist, and it's still one of the lists I run to.
Hot
So
Girl
we
Summer
need a Hot
playlist,
Girl
babe.
Summer playlist. Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
need to
update it.
that.
I'm gonna update it to the Shock Girl Summer playlist.
It'll just be all Meg Thee Stallion.
Absolutely. I'm so proud of you. I also want to say I have a grievance against my hands because I've been lifting so much weight that I've got calluses forming on my fucking knucks.
I have those too, but yeah, sometimes when I rock climb, mine get really. I haven't rock climbed in a little while, but I get like right here, and then I also from learning to play guitar again, I'm starting to get calluses.
Good. You need that.
And also lifting. I've always.
We're just so hot. All right. We now going to transition to the part of the show where we it's called the only part of the show that's actually named after the show is called Ask Your
Ants.
Well, that was the name of the old show. Ask Your Ants.
Yeah, your favorite ants.
Yeah, ask your favorite ants.
I mean, it's the same show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. We answer your questions, and we've got some. I've got some. You got some?
Let me check.
I got one.
Say yours. I don't like that voice. Edit that out. Edit that out live. Can you do that? Do it.
All right.
Okay.
This is actually from our inbox. If you ever want to send us a message here on the show, you can send your emails to askyourfavoriteants@gmail.com. We may read them aloud on the show. Everything will remain anonymous unless you want us to read somebody. So this came in from Mary Patrick. That's their name. Like Sister Mary Patrick from...
You're just making up names. Okay.
All right, so Sister Mary Patrick says... I really appreciated what you guys had to say in response to the question about dating as demisexual. I am just learning that I am one as well. And it was so nice to hear you normalize it. Because when I'm on dating apps, I feel like a freak or a prude. Parentheses. I also feel like having grown up in the church, it makes it even more complicated for me. On parentheses. What advice do you have someone for discovering and learning to be comfortable with their new LGBTQ identity? P.S. I just discovered the podcast, BTW. I love it. Well, thank you, Mary Patrick.
Mary Patrick. I'm a fan of Mary Patrick.
Yeah. Advice with learning to discover how to, discovering and how does one become comfortable with their new, I mean, it's not even new. It's like, not even a new identity. It's just like, it's always been there.
You've always been this. You just have a name for it now.
Yeah. So, like,
I would say...
Go
ahead. You had something.
I don't know. Go start off, Rev Sarah. When you have somebody coming to you and saying, "Hey, like, where do I start?" What's your usual starting line for people?
I usually start with exactly what they're talking about, the normalization. This is great. Like you start with the base of like, this sounds like you're starting to know yourself more, and to know yourself more is to know the divine more. And so this is exciting. Like you're stepping into more knowledge and more depth and more. Like this is so start with a place of excitement for them, not a because they're coming to you or you're coming to yourself. If it sounds like and so allow yourself in a moment to go, oh, this is more self-knowledge, which means this is a growth. This is great, because so often people like share things as if they're like have to whisper it in and like so if you can be excited about it. And I think the place to start is to find people who maybe identify within the same identification that you find yourself gravitating towards.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, understanding demisexuality is so interesting to me because I still don't understand it as part of the queer community, but it feels like I am just more like, but again, people have been great about saying, no, like that's a thing. So then I read what I can about it, and then it feels more and more normal. It's kind of like our brains, if we go from like the psychology or even like the physiology of it, the more and more experiences our brains can have with normalization where someone just says, yeah, it's fine, everything's good. We start to feel like, oh, it's fine, everything's good.
Yeah, and it's just to note that like the fear that sometimes comes in or the uncomfortability is just like the ego's attempt to... it's not trying. It's just trying to keep us safe, right? It's like not trying to harm you or like make you feel sad or small. It's just like trying, like, I know for me, example, like I've been out for going on 6 years now, and also it's hilarious. I've only been out for 6 years. I'm
I
already an
can't.
old, crotchety, tired queer. It's amazing. So I would go with the same thing. Like, first, really check in with yourself and start telling yourself that you love yourself, which I know sounds really basic, but literally speaking out loud. Like, I stand in front of the mirror naked every day, and I tell myself that I love myself.
I don't actually think it's that basic. It might be simple, but it's not basic. It's
Like,
absolutely profound because self-love, you have to understand marketing. And I even a lot of religious communities, the marketing within religious communities is if we can make them hate themselves enough, then they're going to need us. They're going to want us. And then everything we do is justified, right?
right.
And so if we can figure out a way to make people feel really uncomfortable with who they are and what they are, then they're going to constantly be looking for the thing to fix. But if you come to the place not feeling like you need to be fixed, like your sexuality doesn't need to be fixed or your whatever, then you're hard to sell things to and you're hard to sell community to, other than like actual healthy communities that are a lot more risky and a lot more work.
But you, I would say like the thing that I'm wondering how did I become more comfortable with it? I think it's just say it out loud. Like I just start. I had to like say like I'm gay like out loud to myself and like I waited for like the sky to open up or the floor to open up and then get dragged to hell or whatever. But it never happened.
Or whatever.
Just those small things or whatever. And I would say like like note the moments when you do have like weird, uncomfortable moments, like, and rather than like stewing in them, look at it, and as soon as you notice that you're feeling uncomfortable, say, "Oh my God, that's interesting. Why am I uncomfortable?" And when you say that,
curiosity, isn't it?
exactly, you get curious about why I'm uncomfortable because, well, I've never been at this place before, and I've never been out and queer before. I don't know how to do this. I'm just like, well, then why don't you find out? Rather than like condemning yourself for like being new to this whole thing, why don't you just cut yourself some slack for being a newbie? Like, I have to do it all the time. I've only had one successful relationship. Well, that's not true. I've had many successful. Yeah. Let me say this. I've had only one long-term relationship. We'll say that.
Thank you. Successful by outside. Again, we have to look at the...
Success is a moving target.
It is a moving target, and if it's found from people's outside like understandings of what success looks like, you're never going to meet it, because if you meet it, then you don't need all the things that we want to offer you.
Yeah. Something that I had a shift in recently was success no longer looks like things happening the way that I want them to. Success is, did I show up with my full and complete self without compromising my integrity? And if the answer is yes, then I'm good. And if the answer is no, then that's data to respond to. But yeah, either way, I'm not here to guilt myself anymore about like what I'm unable to do. Does that make sense?
Totally. I was thinking about the part that I didn't say in the start of this is this week I lost two people I really cared about, or found out that I had lost two people that I really cared about, people that I was a pastor to, people who were quote unquote older, but lived lives that one of them, he built my wine rack. He built,
when you say they're older, were they actually old? Like, were they old people, like older friends?
I would say one was in their 70s and one was in their 80s. So yeah, old by definition, ish. I don't find 70s to be old, but that's because my parents are in their 70s and they're super hip.
I mean, yeah.
But I
like to say like old or elderly just to name it, because like those are people who we don't normally have a part of the community, because being old is not bad, No,
not at all. Well, and I have friends that are in all different age groups, but someone I went to one of the funerals has already happened. And what I was going to say about the one guy is I wore a wood cross that he made me for my ordination. And so just a very important person to me. And then the other person was an older woman who when I met her, she was married to a former pastor, super, like he had retired, whatever. Then I found out she was one of the first women to go to Duke Divinity School where I went. She was
She probably had
fierce.
a
I had been
hard time too, being the first woman there. My God.
totally one of the first, yeah, Southern, but genteel. But like her son was gay, and she started something called P Flag here in Orange County. This
Oh, that's
woman was
great.
she's like a fierce, incredible. Her son ended up marrying a Methodist pastor, so his husband is a Methodist pastor. Just interesting, like incredible people. And I think them helping me as I listened to her family and friends talk about her, it helped me think about success. What does success looks like? God, success to me looks like I pass away in my 80s and people are like so happy that they knew me, but still saying, man, I wish I had more time. Because every moment with her was a moment. Even when she couldn't talk, they have all these stories about her health crashed and she couldn't talk, and all these funny stories about her. And I think if you have done the work, one of the biggest blessings of my entire career is I have sat with people as they're dying. And that may seem morbid to you, but it has helped me realize that success is such bullshit. That because I've sat with people who were fortunate, whatever, and their family can barely look at them and can't stand them. And then I've sat with people who have lived a life that people would consider was just sort of plain or whatever. And their life is huge and ripples out. So this woman who, like, there was so many people there. There were probably about 15 clergy at this funeral for someone who never was clergy, but they had always been such an incredible part of our community and never were ordained and all these things. I say that to say, I think a lot of the things I've pegged success on, I realize it's not that. Success to me is connection. Success to me is feeling like I'm sitting in my purpose, which is always to make people feel beloved, whatever that looks like. Success is not the thing that they keep selling us that it is. So I say all of that to say, I think be gentle with yourself as you enter into this and don't try to like surrender the outcome. Don't try to own it. Don't try to figure out where you're trying to head. When it comes to sexuality and understanding yourself, any more information is good information because it's new information. It helps you be more you and help your partner be able to be with you in that. My answer.
I want you to remember everything that you just said about success later this week when you start freaking out about what am I gonna do?
What do you mean by later this week? Do you mean like in a minute?
You mean like
When
after
I
we get
call
off
you
this?
after this? I'm just kidding.
You mean after I have a drink
I'm doing
later?
fine.
Oh yeah. But like I'm the same way though. I'm the same way is because like, and that's what's interesting too is we all contain multitudes, and like Sarah and I will always like because our role as I don't want to say our role, but just like one of the things we do as people in public and as pastors, like we are to be. We don't have to be encouragers, but we just naturally are, and we really do believe the things that are coming out of our mouth. Do we believe them perfectly all the time? Do we execute on them perfectly? No, not in the slightest. And however, comma, that's the whole point of like, I think being a pastor in public is like being willing to say, listen,
transparent and being honest that when we do, it does feel better.
It really does. That's the thing. I feel like we really are almost like investigative reporters.
We're investigators.
Yeah, we're gonna go investigate the thing. We'll report back. We'll tell you if it worked for us, and you can try it at home next week.
Or
something.
Are we ready to move on to the next one? I've got a good one.
Hit me with your best shot.
Okay, so we'll call this person Sam. I don't know. I'm not as good with names as you are.
Do we know their pronouns?
She, her.
All right, this is I like Sasha. Sasha.
This is Sasha. Sasha says, "How do I overcome discomfort when walking back into a church after trauma?"
Oh man.
How do I overcome the discomfort I feel when walking back into church after trauma?
First and foremost, for me, is this church a safer place for you as a human? do they affirm queer people? Do they empower women? And what's the cult like? What's their theology? Do they have a statement? If they believe that the Bible is the inerrant word of God, you might want to consider a different place. But that's the first thing, is like, is this place going to be... I mean, there are no perfect churches, blah, blah, blah. But at minimum, you should not have to worry about what's going to come out off the pulpit, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, too, the thing that has helped me when I'm moving into a space that I feel uncomfortable with is grounding in myself before I go in, and saying almost a thing from like children's movies or whatever, where this can't hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
This can't hurt me. Even if this disappoints me, this cannot hurt me. This is just a moment in time that I'm sharing with these people. And whatever happens here, it cannot actually hurt me. It does not affect my relationship to God, because nothing can separate me from the love of God. Nothing. Not this church service, not what that stupid person up there with the degree says. Nothing can separate me from the love of God. So when I step into this, I'm stepping in as a full human who you cannot take my humanity. And you step in with the awareness that everything you want and need, you already have.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're coming into it, it is just an experience that you're having with these people. And it doesn't need to live up to anything huge or big, because, honey, you already have it. You already have it. So you're just coming in to celebrate the thing that you already have. And if they can't celebrate it with you, well,
leave.
It's not your place. Dust your shoes, as they say in the Bible.
And also,
dust your shoes off.
Yeah, dust your sandals off, shake the dust from your feet, and also recognize, even in the middle of a service, you can walk out anytime.
Can walk out.
I've done it. I'm a front row sitter. I was on the front row of something. I walked my ass out.
One of the questions I would love to ask our listeners is, what has made you walk out of something?
Okay. Editorial question of the week for everyone listening here. And like, so I don't want to call it editorial question of the week. That's what they used to call it on the Relevant podcast. But we want to do like a question of the week, where we hear from everyone. So if you're listening to this live or on the podcast later, email your answers to askyourfavoriteants@gmail.com. What was the thing that made you walk out of church?
Mid-service. Like, I want to know your mid-service walkouts.
Like, not like, I'm talking like middle of the service, middle of the sermon, middle of announcements,
Announcements. I hate casseroles.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Was that what they're announcing?
No, that's not. It's fine. I have another question, but I feel like you might have another one.
I don't have any in the inbox, but I'll check over here. I don't think I have any other cues at the moment.
Okay, I've got one.
Hit it.
So this is from a pastor.
Pastor.
Their pronouns are they, them.
Pastor J.
Pastor J. All right, perfect. Pastor J wants to know, and they have written, we can tell our congregations to show up in love as ourselves, and love will win. But what if love doesn't win? What if your love is met with shrieks of, I'm melting? How do you show up? Should you?
Wait, what?
Clergy.
What does that mean? I show up and they're melting? Does that happen?
Person is yelling, like, if you show, what if your love is met with, so you're showing up with love. So you're telling your congregation, you're a pastor, you're telling your congregation, you need to just show up as your full self, and love will win no matter what. But then they themselves, the relationship that they're in, who they are, is met with like, ugh! So then do you walk away from the community that cannot accept who you are, and in that moment? Does that make sense? So this is kind of a clergy specific question of, what do you do if you're the one?
When you're when you're the weird one out of your congregation? Mm-hmm. Oh. Well. Well, I think that... Do you want to start off with this one? It feels very clergy specific.
I mean, also you're a clergy, just so.
Am I? I'm not in the classical sense, though.
Why is the knife out?
Because I have
Yeah,
to,
I
like,
think
I've got to cut through the bullshit.
I know this doesn't seem like it's relatable. So at first it's not going to seem relatable and then we'll get back. So when I was going to seminary, I was 21 and I had just got my nose pierced. I was in Europe and I was going to get my nose pierced and I called my mom to tell her I was piercing my nose and she said, "Oh, you've already done it." Because she was like, "You're only telling me about it because you've already done it." I was like, "No, mom, I'm going to get my nose pierced." And she said, "Well, Sarah, you're going to go into the ministry. What if a church doesn't want you with your nose pierced?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I'm working with my nose pierced because part of the Sarah package is a pierced nose.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do everything I can to be in that space and welcome them into understanding my pierced nose, but I cannot." By the way, they thought it was a phase. I was 21 when I got it done, so that's almost 20 years ago.
20 years
But
of
I
nose.
cannot. I cannot force them to accept that part of me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the same thing. If you can only just offer, and if they cannot accept it, at some point you have to walk away.
Yeah. Like, if you are hiding, like, the whole point of being I would say, of being a preaching pastor, in many ways, is to show people how to do it. How to, like, be a better, and I don't say, like, be a better human, but at least, like, you're in charge, kind of like, you have been charged with the spiritual care of this community, and part of the spiritual care is caring for yourself. You cannot show anybody else love unless you are loving yourself. You can't show other people how to be themselves completely free of shame if you are not doing that, because you can't, because they will shame you. And so if your congregation is shaming you for being yourself, or they're unable to accept you in the same way, shake the dust from your feet, bitch.
Okay, so then this is the part. So this is their response to us. So this is in the DM is, but what do I do if it's not my congregation? It's so I'm telling my congregation about love and like showing up and letting love win. If it doesn't work, then walk away. Like I'm telling them all the healthy things, but my partner's family cannot accept us or me. So I'm preaching all this stuff, but in our home, in our situation, love isn't winning.
I mean, would you rather? I mean, there's only the only two things. It's either, this is what I would do. I'm a big believer in very, very direct and clear communication and taking. I don't want to say taking emotion out of it, but it's almost like learning how to, like. Something, of course, in Miracles says is that God does not win us battles. God takes us above the battle itself. Because if we think that we have to strive and try to change people's minds, they're not going to hear it. They're not going to want to have it. So, but all you can do is control your response to something. All you can do is stick to your integrity. And if your integrity says, we practice, in this house, we practice A, B, and C things. We practice radical love. We believe Black Lives Matter. We believe da-da-da-da-da. And if the family of your spouse, partner, whoever, is unable to accept you, that's very unfortunate. And if that, so what you have to do is figure out, all right, what kind of relationship, if any, can I have with them, and how can I communicate that? And the way I put it with other people is, hey, I need X from you. So if, like, something from my family was, I need you to show up for me in these ways. Or, we can't have these conversations with one another because we can't stay respectful with one another when we do. So when we're around each other, we're going to keep it to, for example, my family, I have agreed during the holidays to not talk about politics or religion. Ever. Which is also why I don't go home longer than 72 hours.
We realized that this year, didn't we?
Yeah. So that's what you gotta,
Not
like,
for my family, but for yours.
yeah. So just, like, learning, if you stick to your guns, you have nothing to be ashamed of. Because the thing about it is that person, that family member, it's not your job to convert them. It is not your job to help them see the light. It is your job to be a light.
I am the vine, you are the branches, but God is the vine gardener. You are not responsible for the fruit that grows. You are just responsible for taking care of what is near you and part of you.
You just gotta.
You have no control of the other branches.
Yeah, stay in your section of the vineyard, tend your grapes, squish your wine, and then sip. Because guess what? They a bitch. I'm just kidding. I'm sure they're horrible.
Here's the thing is that I because I'm old. Hi, old. I have seen people change
Same here.
what when no one thought, and all it took was the other person staying their course, saying, "These are our values. I would love to be in your life. I really value you, but because of the way you're coming at me, I just can't.
Can't do it.
I would love to see you under these circumstances. Here are the boundaries I've worked out that are comfortable for me. I'm sorry that you can't see me in my full humanity. That's kind of a bummer for you. I want to support my partner who loves you, but this is affecting who I am. I'm not I think you're great, but I can't until we can meet at an equal space, and I look forward to the day when that comes." Because
And then just being able to put just like I look forward to that. If you I mean I reference Glennon Doyle's book Fierce when she tells her mother, I believe, who is not supportive. I don't know what if it's changed or not, but at the time it was written, it wasn't supportive of Glennon and Abby's marriage.
right.
And she said, like, until you're able to affirm us and celebrate us, we cannot let the gate down, or can't let the drawbridge to our island, to our home. We can't let that down because you're gonna, like, I hate saying you're gonna fuck up the vibes, dude, but guess what? You will.
Right. And I think people are so you have to stop being pastoral in every position. It is not your job to pastor the people who don't want you to pastor them. You can only bring people as far as they're willing to go. And if they can't go with you there, you have no idea how much they're watching you. And just living into your truth might be way more helpful than trying to create a space for them that isn't true and transparent and honest.
Yeah, that was something for me too. Like, the more that I am just myself, the more my family just kind of gets used to it and shows up for it, or doesn't. Yeah.
And if they don't, that's their problem, not yours.
Yeah. It's sad. It's disappointing. But I'm also having more fun hanging out with my friends. So.
Yeah. Well, this has been another enlightening episode of Your Favorite Ants. We will be here next week. We'll let you know when.
Yeah. It's probably.
So many people showed up. I love that. That's
I know.
Kind.
We have a solid 13 people here. Thank you for everyone who left delicious comments. If you wouldn't mind, please go to the Apple Podcasts and the Spotify place and subscribe. Leave a rating and a review and share it with friends. Share it with friends. Your friend. Yes.
People who identify as plural.
Yeah, people with multiple personalities, or single personalities. Any personality, boring personalities, exciting personalities. Any personality is good for this show.
We are excited about what we're building and growing. There's so much good stuff coming up this summer. There is so much fun to be had with the Reverent Media Group. We can't speak enough about how great it is. We've just added a couple shows. That's going to be announced soon. So exciting. This has been a lot of fun, and it's continuing to grow. Yeah, which is crazy.
I agree. Anything you want to promote or share or?
Yeah. So I'm in my last month of being a local pastor, and then I am moving into doing work through Making Spaces as an LLC, which is a way for me to consult people, pastors, or local churches in all kinds of things. So be on the lookout for that. I'm actually working on a new website and whatnot. I'm also going to be working on my Airstream for the month of July and August and part of September. So just check out all of that work. My books are still for sale, and that's really helpful for me as I have no regular stream of income as of July as I step away. And so if you want to buy a book and help me buy a coffee, that'd be great. You can find those on Amazon or a website called Cokesbury. And they're called What's Your Story? Seeing Your Life Through God's Eyes. And also a book called Authenticity. And the best part of all of that, the little hidden Easter egg that I love to tell people because it makes me laugh, is they hired a model to be me on a book about authenticity.
I still can't fucking believe that.
I love it. Yeah. It makes me laugh so hard.
Listen,
what about you? What do you got to share with us?
Buy back the rights to your book.
I know. Also, check out Making Spaces, my other podcast. We are rounding out the end of our third season and then taking a break for a little while. But I know it's exciting. We're talking to some really cool people. Dirty Rotten Church Kids are next week.
Yeah. Things I want to promote. Follow me on social media at the. Sorry. Wow, that came out of nowhere. I couldn't stop it, and I am really embarrassed. That was gross. Follow me across social media at the Kevin Garcia. Tours coming up. We're going to be in LA, Portland, Seattle, shut up, Minneapolis, Chicago, Nashville, Columbus, Atlanta, and Wild Goose Fest. And by that I mean I'm just going to be at the Wild Goose Festival, and you can come hang out with me and Sarah there.
The two of us are going to be together on stage, which is just going to be
multiple times.
We'll be like 6 beers in. So
I will be blitzed out.
Beer there.
Yeah, people buy us some beer. Come hang out with us. We'll laugh a lot.
We have a hot tub that we're going to be handling.
Yes, I will say this: not everyone's invited to that hot tub. I'm not giving everybody here.
Oh, sorry, no, I wasn't doing that. I was just saying that
we have it. We have it in our possession. You, as a community, I'm not inviting you to our hot tub. Sorry.
Yet. But be cool, maybe.
No,
that feels weird. I don't like it.
In the future at Queer Camp, when there's a hot tub at Queer Camp, you can come to that hot tub when everybody's there.
Perfect. Sorry, I ruined that. Anyway,
it's okay.
Hey, your favorite ants. I want to say we're proud of you.
We are proud of you. Every day.
We're proud of you.
In every way.
Every day in every way, and make good decisions.
To make good decisions, make sure that this week you decide. Who's going to be with you for the zombie apocalypse? You never know when it's going to hit, but that's important. So
make that decision. That is our advice for the week.
Yeah.
Is make sure you know who's going to be with you for the zombie apocalypse.
Yep. And until next week, we love you so much, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.